Hello and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective, and today it is day 56 with the Ticwatch E2. And today I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about Ticmotion, because that was one of the big features that was announced for the E2 and the S2 watch. And having owned it for almost 2 months now, I wanted to talk to you about the average user. So I'm not a marathon runner, and I'm not what we would call, physically active in the sense of playing sports like every single week. I'm always out walking. I do approximately anywhere from 9,000 to 12,000 steps a day. So I'm not exactly on the other end of the spectrum either. I would really consider myself in the middle, the average user. And I wanted to discuss some of the things that Ticmotion does and some of the things that it could continue to improve on. So the first thing I wanted to bring up is the 24-hour heart rate monitor. I actually enabled this fairly recently because I wasn't too sure how it was going to impact battery life. Turns out it works really well. So these are my statistics for the days that I have kept it on. And it's just a nice little report about all of the usual steps and my heart rate throughout the day. So you can kind of tell at certain points of the day are a little bit more active and other parts of the day are a little bit more chill. So that information, of course, is pretty handy. One thing that I was a little bit disappointed on, and this is just a Wear OS thing, I think, is if you do have a watch face that displays the heart rate, I found that there was a considerable amount of lag in between updates. And depending on what you need from your watch, that could be a bit of a letdown. If you need to know, like, every 10 seconds, then it's not really that quick. It's about every minute or 2 minutes it updates. And again, if that doesn't bother you, and if that's good enough, then you won't have any issues with the heart rate monitor. If you are an enthusiast or a person that's looking to become an enthusiast, I've actually heard many stories of what people will do is because of this, and where it's actually easier to check your pulse. Some people will spin the watch around when they're measuring it so they can get the inside vein, which is a little bit more accurate than, say, on the back of the wrist. And of course, nothing will substitute an actual heart rate monitor. But now the other part is the actual Ticmotion. Now, Ticmotion is broken down into two major parts. The first part is essentially what I'm going to call land travel. So that's indoor and outdoor running and walking. The other one is, of course, swimming. I'm in a landlocked part of my country. Swimming is not really something I can really do unless I find a deep puddle somewhere. And those sewage drainage lakes in some neighborhoods, they discourage you from swimming in those, I found out. Anyway, so I can't really test the swim feature yet. If I ever do, I'll be sure to make an update video. But here's the big thing that I think still requires a lot of work, and it is Ticmotion. So I've had Ticmotion actually enabled for a good deal of time now. And I'll just walk you through the settings. It can be found under Tic Exercise. So the nice thing about this is you've got your different styles that you can activate manually, and the swimming one you do have to activate manually. However, this should, and that's the operative word, work automatically. If you swipe to the right, and we swipe to the right again, you'll see that there is an auto-recognize function. I really haven't gotten this to work properly. I have to be honest about that. And that is a little bit disappointing. I've read the help files and I've read online, and from what I've gathered and from what I've been able to collect in terms of information, sometimes it can take up to 3 to 5 minutes for Ticmotion to actually activate and record what's happening. So this one down here, an outdoor walk, I did manually, and you know what? It seemed to work okay. It was a short walk in my neighborhood. I recorded the data, and everything seemed to be going okay there. Now this one that happened automatically, kid you not, was playing Flappy Flappy VR, and it decided that it was time to actually counted as exercise. So that's why there's no miles, because I literally didn't move. And it was just kind of weird. I don't know how this is actually being triggered. And I think that's the frustration, is that when you get your heart rate up, in my mind, it's like, okay, if my heart rate is up, this is where the watch should probably tick in and say, hey, are you doing exercise? Can I keep track of it? And currently, it doesn't do that. So even though the technology is definitely a nice to have, I really think it needs some improvement, or at the very least, the user needs the option to actually adjust the sensitivity of it to get the performance that you need. I was recently actually watching track and field in my local city here, and I thought, gee, most of these runs are over in like 5 minutes. If it took that long for the watch to pick it up, the data would be very inaccurate. And I also talked to quite a few of my colleagues and friends that are athletes, and even a 3-minute gap, a lot can happen in there and a lot of data can be lost. I would encourage Mobileye to continue their efforts with Ticmotion, because I think it's an excellent idea to keep track of this information, but the sensitivity in my mind, or how it detects whether or not to record that information, does need a little bit more R&D, if you will. At any rate, if you enjoyed this sort of content, I would encourage you to do the big 4, which I will put here at the bottom of the screen. Like the video, share it, because there is not a lot of new information out there about Ticmotion. Most of it I found was from January. Subscribe, and of course, if you really like the content, hit that notification bell, so when new videos like this one come out, you are notified that they are here. Thank you very much to my viewers, and of course to Mobileye, for not only sending the watch, but also this nice lovely bag that I've been using as a backdrop for filming today. Alright, I think that's everything, and I'll see you next time.